Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by the one and only psychic Robin.
Hey, hey everyone. How you doing? Hope everything is good.
What's going on? How are you today?
Oh, not too bad. I am in creative mode today. I've been writing, got two books done, started another one. We're redoing our bedroom, getting ready for a baby, and well, if that's not enough, I don't know what is.
That's a lot. I mean, listen, and you are doing readings at the Psychic Source for only $20 with code
Yep.
VELVET, so let's not forget that. And we are doing a contest now. They say nothing in life is free, but this is actually free. There's no Psychic Source has wanted to do a contest with me, and I said I think this is a great idea. So we're doing a contest. It is completely free. You can go to my Behind Velvet Rope Instagram. All the rules are there, but basically, you're already following me. You have to follow Behind Velvet Rope on Instagram. You have to follow Psychic Source on Instagram. You have to like the post that I have, and it's fun. You have to make a prediction of who are the next two housewives that are gonna feud. That's it. Just follow me, follow Psychic Source, like the post, and then which two housewives are going to feud next. I really want everyone's opinions, but you also get entered into a contest, and the reading is free. There's no catch. I know people don't believe when something is really free. It's really free.
That's
Someone is
true.
going to get a free reading. So
That is true.
I am not eligible, Robin. Otherwise, I would enter myself because I would like a free reading. You know what I'm saying?
I do. But I am very, very excited about this. Getting everybody involved like that, it's going to be so much fun.
That's what I think. It's going to be fun. They came to me with the idea, and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Because I really want to hear, I mean, the amount of housewives that could feud next, I don't even know where to begin. Well, I want to begin with, I think I spoke to Psychic Raquel about this. It all blends together. But we didn't speak about this particular issue, but we might have spoken about this person, Garcelle Beauvais. Now, she is born 11/26/1966. So Garcelle Beauvais. So before I give you any details, there's some things that are happening again with her. Let's
Okay.
see what your cards tell you.
Let me look here. Garcelle. Who? Uh, the first card that I pull is the star in the sky, and I am using the Shaman Dream deck if anybody's interested. Basically, what this is telling me is that there is some malicious behavior behind the scenes. Um, and it's a group, it's more than one. Kind of up and down, trying to hide stuff. Not necessarily with, well, I mean, it's malicious, but not necessarily with malicious intent, but trying to hide something.
Okay, that resonates a little bit with me. What else you see there?
Uh, hmm. I'm worried a little bit. Um, Five of Cups. It would be the similar to Five of Cups, and also the Devil card. Now, in my deck, it doesn't come up as the Devil card, but if you know anything about the regular tarot, it's equal to. And basically, what that means is there's some regret. There is some a slow, hard-earned path to healing, basically, is what that means. So there is some things going on, like um, kind of reminds me of rehab. I don't know if that's the case, but like there's some sort of addiction, does not mean drugs or alcohol, but there's something going on that's causing some interference.
Well, a couple of things have resonated with me. I wrote three things down. So you say, first of all, like a path to healing. So Garcelle herself has left. She was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I don't know if you remember her. I know you watched a few
I,
episodes.
yeah, I do remember the name.
So she resigned from her position. So she's left the show. What card do you
Mhm.
have there? I see you pulled another card.
Yeah. lay on the land, ancestral wisdom. What that would be equal to would be like a swords card, but it would be a reverse swords card. So it would mean that there was problems before, but as she's pulling away, some of those problems are going to disappear.
Okay. So, right. So, I guess, right. So, she left the show. So, maybe that's what it is. There were problems before. Certainly, they'll disappear now that she's not on the show. The path to healing, that could be that she's off the show.
Yeah, but she's going to be financially okay. Um, I'm actually hearing her guides too. She will be financially okay. She needs to, like, she's going to be emotionally recalibrating. Sorry, recalibrating. Um, she's shedding the weight of needing to be the strong one, which is good. I just have to say though, I there's something that I want to say about her. Let me just double check here.
Okay. The cards do not lie.
She's kind of walking in between the worlds of being seen and not being seen. Um, she's entering a period of like a personal refinement. Uh, she seems like she stayed strong for a long time. Um, but now like her spirit's saying she needs to let go, get real with herself and go deeper, basically. The card I just pulled would be the Hermit card. So it's power, introspective, a vision, a sacred pause before a bold return.
Well, she is an
So
actress. I mean, she's had, she has had many opportunities ish before. Look, being on Beverly Hills Housewives as an actress, it does revive your career. It does
I'm
help
sure
your
it
career.
does.
There's no shade in that. So you do see financial things for her that
I
fill in
do.
opportunities.
Actually, to be honest with you, I feel like there's a new, let me just double check. Yep, winter stream, a gestation period. There's something brewing. And basically what it feels like is like there's a new platform or production role. Like she may actually step into production of something. Feels like she's a little bit more behind the scenes for the rest of 2025. Maybe doing some writing or some curating with projects for purposes.
Well, she has like directed and stuff before and produced, so maybe there's just more of that for this
I
year.
think there's probably going to be more of that. And remember, she's in an ancestral period right now. And anytime somebody goes into an ancestral period, first of all, it's like a great purging. Anything and everything that can come up to remove itself from your life, whether you want it to or not, is going to do that. And people start to panic. But what it does for the person is it allows them to take a step back and really feel what they're wanting. And I feel like right now, even though actors and actresses usually don't like to be behind the scenes, I feel like that's where she's kind of feeling her power.
Is
So
she,
that's
so
good.
you say purging, like what? Is that her purging or things are purging out of her life? Like,
Things are purging out of her life. However, a lot, let me just double check. Energies are crazy today, so I'm just making sure what I'm hearing is
let me
exactly
tell
what
you,
they
they
want
were
me to
horrible
say.
yesterday. If I
Yes,
can
they
just go on
were.
record of saying that, I
They
apologize to
were.
anyone who spoke to me yesterday because I just snapped and there's
Shame on
only
you.
so much
Okay.
one could take. Yeah, shame on me.
There is. No, truthfully, sometimes you just need a pause. But it's basically saying skywriting the fates. What that would remind me of is like the Emperor's card. Um, somebody who is stronger sometimes than they appear. But the Empress is not always sitting up front. Sometimes she is in her chamber. Sometimes she is moving behind the scenes while everybody else kind of, goes on with their life. She needs a break. She needs to purge from people. She needs to purge from places. She needs to probably get in her damn closet and clean the closet out too, if I'm guessing, because I feel like she's collected and has tried to keep a persona up for so long that it's finally caught up with her.
Well, that is part of, I think, why she quit the show. Now, two things you also said that I found that I earmarked here. You said regret. You said something about regret. I mean, what do you see with Garcelle in terms of regret? Because I heard that word.
Okay, so the card that I pulled was the empty whale. it's like time to replenish. When I get into her energies, I feel like it's how she has been with other people. She hasn't been real authentic with herself. So if you're not authentic with yourself, you cannot be authentic for other people. I feel like she's probably felt like she's burned some bridges, or there's been some disconnect that she has a lot of regret for. That is kind of getting back to the basics of who she is.
And not necessarily in her decision to leave the show then.
No. I think I think she may express, oh, it was a hard thing, but honestly, I think it was easy for her. I think after she got out of her way and trying to convince herself that maybe she should stay, or is it the right thing or the wrong thing? I feel like when she actually made the decision, it was like a breath of fresh air for her.
And that's
It
what it
was,
seems like, from an
yeah,
outsider's point of view. And the one thing you mentioned in the beginning too, you said something about hiding. Part of her decision to leave, I mean, I don't know. It seems like it has to do with that hiding. Maybe you're referring to this woman, Kyle, who we spoke about before. I mean, Kyle is, for all intents and purposes, as far as I can see, in a relationship with this woman, Morgan. We don't
yeah,
know
I knew
that,
it.
right?
I knew it.
We don't
No.
really know. Do we know that?
Well, I'm telling you right
Okay.
now because after we did the show on that, I
Yeah.
went and looked this Morgan up on TikTok and started following her. And I'm telling you right now, I would bet it 99.9% of the time, with the gods stepping in that 1% of anything, they are definitely together.
I mean, that's what I've been saying.
They are definitely together. Their energetic soul and even their Akashic mapping, because I did an Akashic mapping for them,
Yeah.
um, blends. Akashic maps don't blend unless there is an intense, usually romantic relationship,
Huh.
like soulmate type of thing.
Interesting. So Morgan could be Kyle's soulmate.
She could be. I think and I know you didn't ask, but I'm just going to tell you. I
No,
think
by all means.
Morgan brings out something in Kyle that she hasn't been able to express. It's that because I mean I know she's considerably older, but Kyle's got this energy to her. Once all the drama is tamed down, once all of the needing to be in charge or needing to be heard, when that's all toned down, she's like a kid. I mean, her energy levels, young and vibrant and full of life and needing love. And I think that Morgan brings that to her. Not to mention, Morgan's kind of got that bad girl energy to her, that kind of comes off that is real good for Kyle.
I would agree with all that. I mean, I think she is a real soul under all
Mhm.
of that and just wants, she doesn't want the simple life, but she wants both. Like she wants
Yeah,
a real
yeah,
connection, which not everyone in her position does.
no, no.
So, but I think maybe when you mention hiding me, because I think part of Garcelle leaving is that she was at the reunion and she was looking around like we're all sitting up here. We're not talking about Morgan. We're pretending Kyle's not with Morgan. And maybe that's when you'd say Garcelle kind of let herself down in a sense of, like she just looked around and I think is like, we're literally in the Twilight Zone here. We're ignoring the fact that Kyle is with her and no one is calling her on this. And we're now going ahead and wrapping
Right.
up the reunion into next season and we're going to pretend a whole nother season? Like, what the hell?
Well, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, and I think that it probably was a little off-putting. You know, I know I keep saying this. I know it's reality based, but sometimes I feel like the girls are not, or excuse me, the women are not truly themselves sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they kind of try to hide the softer side of themselves. And that softer side truly is about being authentic and just being real with whatever's going on. Because the truth is, we're all human and we make mistakes. And we do stupid things, we say stupid things and whatever. But I think that probably did play a big part in it because I think that's what Giselle was expecting, and it didn't happen that way. And I'm telling you, Giselle is going through a transformation. She's going to come out of this just fine. Um, I don't feel like she regrets leaving. I don't feel like she misses it. I feel like she is, and I'm going to sound so much like a psychic now. She's ready to return to her authentic self.
I would agree with that. Well, part of why maybe she left, we're not sure. So I don't want to lead you anyway. There's a woman, her
Yeah, don't.
name, yeah, I don't want to lead you. Her name is, this has nothing to do with Garcelle, really, but this woman's name is Sutton Stracke. Now, she was born 9/20/1971. She was also on the same show. That's all I'll tell you. Or she is on the same show. What do we see with her?
Let me look at this just a little bit. Um, okay, so the main card that I would focus on, which is the now, is the unmarried trail revelation card. Now, in the spiritual world, unmarried does not necessarily mean that you don't have a ring on your finger. It means that you are not connected to any one true person. So you are for yourself only. So if there was a friendship, which I believe we had talked about this before, and I think there was some type of friendship going on, Sutton probably was never truly 100% authentic. Not that I'm putting it all on Sutton, because I think it's a, it's a, what did
Two-way
they say?
street.
Two, yeah, it takes two to tango type of thing.
Yeah.
But she damn sure didn't put any effort into anything, or at least any authentic effort. Um, I mean, I love the name Sutton. It's got such a high vibration to it. But and please forgive me for saying this, but I'm just gonna tell you like it is. Girl needs to grow up. She needs to grow up and start realizing that everything's not about her, and that she needs to learn to play on a team. Oh God, do you like Sutton? Hello?
Okay, I
Oh,
well, no, I hear you. I'm taking all in. I personally like Sutton, but I can tell you, you're not going to offend me, and lots of people listening do not like Sutton. So, if you're, I mean, everything you said about her being for herself and all of that, I mean, that is what most of these people listening probably
well,
think.
it doesn't make for a bad person. It just makes for a person that is a little bit more selfish. And if that's fine if somebody wants to live that way. It's not so fine when you drag other people into your chaos.
Why'd you ask if I like Sutton? Are you pulling some cards that are
Well,
not going to be so good for Sutton here today? It sounds like it.
well, yeah, really, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, I pulled the tiny house, which basically means that her house is fixing to crumble. There's going to be some things that come out. Lies are going to show up. Whew, that friendship is going to kind of come back around, or try to come back around. Um, there's going to be a public display of like her throwing a fit. Um, I honestly kind of, every card that I'm pulling for her is all about her needing to reevaluate how she's handling things, um, and take care of her business first before she tries to get into anybody else's. Basically, is what it's saying.
I mean, was she ever a good friend to Garcelle?
It depends on what you would consider a good friend. I think when Garcelle was, when they were able to talk about other people, when they had each other's backs, and Garcelle was, kind of standing up for her, and vice versa. Yes, I think when the cards started crumbling, and Garcelle started to pull away a little bit, um, absolutely not. That's when the good friendship started to change.
Right. Well, I think part of Garcelle's leading too is at the reunion. I think the lights went on for Garcelle that Sutton kind of, yeah, that Garcelle always had Sutton's back. And to your point, it may not have been always reciprocated.
It was not always reciprocated. I mean, okay, so let's get real here. We have all had friends that were where we were more responsible for their emotional well-being in the relationship than they were for us. That is a normal um it's not normal to have. It's normal to experience it, to be able to realize what you will and will not accept in your relationships and friendships. Sutton Sutton is just for Sutton. And Sutton has talked mad shit about Garcelle. And I know Garcelle's not, I'm not saying that she is totally innocent because again, they're desperate housewives for a reason, but she really did and still does love Sutton as a friend. But there was some real harsh stuff that was said. Like it could have rocked um Garcelle's life if things wouldn't have gotten out or somebody wouldn't have told her so she could have stopped it. Stop the wheel from turning to other people finding out.
Well, right. Recently, now that she's gone, she unfollowed the entire cast, including Sutton, who was her friend. Sutton then made a statement in the public. She spoke to some publication and said, I'm going to give her the space she needs now that she left the show. By the way, she did unfollow all of us, but she's still following my business accounts, Sutton Brands and her other Sutton business account. And 24 hours later, Garcelle then unfollowed Sutton's business accounts. Kind of like, I'm gonna, you want to play me in the media. So the thing is, like, when you say Sutton cares only about Sutton, right? It seems, I don't know what the cards are going to say, that she cares more about her public image. And I actually like her, but it seems like she cares more about her public image than actually the behind the scenes friendship with Garcelle.
Well, and to be honest with you, I kind of like her too because I'm telling you, there's a high vibrational energy, and she's going to reach that streak. There's going to be an aha moment for Sutton. Sometimes this year, I'm going to say probably closer to the end of August, September timeframe, just by how it kind of looks energetically speaking. And then when I look at her Akashic mapping, there's an aha moment where something is going to be offered to her, or there's an opportunity that's coming, but somebody sets her down and says, "Look, this is what we need from you." If you want this. And it feels like it switches a little bit, but then it goes, to me, is she switching it because it's a business opportunity and it'll make her look good in the public eye. That I'm going to say that's definitely a part of it for sure. But you know how they say if you take a pound dog and put him in a home, he becomes a home dog. That's kind of what I feel like with her. Like whatever this space is that she's going to be moving into, this opportunity, it's going to, and please forgive me for this, it's going to be a little bit more like she has to be grown up. She has to be responsible for what she says. She has to be responsible for how she's treating other people. And I think that's going to change her a little bit. I think that's going to allow Sutton to get back to the basics of who Sutton really is, because Sutton wasn't like this when she was little. Younger age. She was, I mean, look, she looked like a freaking queen. She had higher level energies. That's the netcaster. That means that she could probably have anything that she ever wanted from a very young age, and probably from her own accord. Nobody else's, but it got to her, as fame does most people. You really have to have a strong background to be famous. You got to have a strong not mortality, moral, bone in your body, because if not, it will eat you up and spit you out.
I agree. I think it changes you a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she grew up wealthy. I mean, she had a father who took his own life, so that probably has affected her. But financially, she did grow up where no was probably, she financially could have everything. She also married very well and got a divorce, and she gets $300,000 a month, not a year, $300,000 a
Holy.
month.
Sometimes that's not worth it though. Let me tell you. Can I just tell you what the
Tell
cards have
me.
have been saying? And actually, my guides, we were talking about this last night. Me and my guides, because that's what I do. Was talking about it when I was formatting something that I was working on, and um, I was told that Not everybody who grew up with money, okay, or comes from money, but there is a reason why some people do. And the reason is because they're given a chance to come into this world and actually do something with it, like do something for not just themselves, but for the people around them and people that they can help. And when they don't do it, they become miserable with money. And that is the most scariest place to be. Because if you're miserable with money, you don't have true friends.
What do you mean? Just like an unhappy person, even though you're filthy rich?
Even though you're filthy rich. It those of us who are on, the lower middle scale, right? Like we think, oh gosh, if we could just make this much money, then we could just pay all this off and it's going to, take care of everything. But money doesn't take care of everything. The most important things in lives are the human connections that you make and what you do with those human connections. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when people are given, 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 they don't ever form a they don't form an ability to make those connections. It's give me what I want. And if you don't give me what I want, then I'm gone. Or I'm going to throw a fit or whatever the case is. And I think that just kind of got set in a little bit.
I think that's the case with most people that are born into tons of money, but I also have a very cynical view of the world. So don't go, but don't just go by me, or some could call
Well,
it a realistic view of the world.
I know some people who are very wealthy and who are very,
Yes.
very good people, but I also know some
Yes.
people who are very wealthy and quite frankly, um, they're the most horrible people I've ever met in my life when it comes to humanity and other people. It's just horrible. It just distorts the view, you know.
And I think fame does make it. So that was the point too I was trying to make is like Sutton had money per se before the show. She was getting 300 grand a month. I do think fame maybe has, like you said, affected her.
Yeah, and there are not saying anything bad about chasing fame if you want it because that's a beautiful thing because you have this big old platform to be able to entertain people and make people feel better. That's great. But when it starts to change who you are at the core, you need to take a step back and breathe a little bit because once you cross that threshold, it's hard to come back. It's hard to come back, and then you lose people along the way because I don't care how much money you have. If you're an asshole, I don't want to be around you.
No. Well, and also when you say something's coming up for Sutton, like an opportunity, like around August, she is now moving forward on the show without Garcelle. And yeah, I guess she has some other friends with air quotes, but Garcelle was her real friend. So,
Yeah.
she has a lot of people that are not her friends. I mean, she's going to either thrive or be in trouble next season without Garcelle. So maybe when you say, August, that's probably, maybe they'll start filming a little before, but like maybe that's the show. Maybe that's just her next season where she's going to have to, maybe that's what that's referring to.
Well, I do see her on for another season for sure. However, I think there's going to be some struggles. I don't think there's going to be many alliances stepping up with her. I think some of the other women have already formed um, we're going to do air quotes, friends, and that's their friends. And I kind of see them circling her like a gator circling a baby calf. It's not good.
It's not going to be good. Last one, we could do this one quicker. There's a woman, Bozoma Saint John, Bose. Now, she was born January 21st, 1977. Let's see what type of vibes you get from her.
Say her name one more time for
Okay,
me.
so it's spelled Bozoma.
Ooh,
She goes by
regal.
Regal. She
She's
goes by
real regal.
Bose Boz, which is pronounced like it rhymes with rose, Bose, not Boz. So Bozoma Bozoma Saint John, January
Well,
21st, 1977.
she's totally wounded, but she's resilient. Um, there's hope returning after some disillusionment, new career. She's questioned legacy versus lifestyle, which I actually kind of like that she's doing that.
What does that mean?
Means she's not 100% sure she wants the spotlight anymore.
Hmm.
First breath. meaning she's kind of feeling like there may be something else. Mentally, she's tired, she's exhausted, she's stabilized. I keep hearing the grief is softening, so I don't know what happened. They're not necessarily telling me what that means. Um,
Well, I could tell you what that means. I mean,
oh, it's
oh,
wait, give me just 1 second
no, take
because
your
the
time.
guys are talking. Okay, so as far as like they keep showing me her heart chakra, and basically what they're saying is that she's guarded right now. She's really wanting something deep, but she's not open. Um, Someone's circling her field potential, real love, beginning first part of 2026 is possible if she'll open up. Sorry. Okay.
No, I didn't listen. If the gods are speaking, I can be quiet. This is why everyone's coming to Psychic Source and using code Velvet and getting a $20 reading. When the gods speak, we all be quiet. Well,
Yes.
she had a husband and she was divorcing him, but they remained friends. But I mean, at what point, I don't know the exact, nuances, but he then developed cancer and passed away fairly quickly. But she stayed with
Oh,
him. I don't know if it was that quick. I mean, she was literally with him and helped him through it. And I mean, she did lose her husband, even though they
yeah.
were technically getting divorced. I mean, there was a strong love there, at least as a friend. So that is
Oh,
something she suffered later, or early in life. So I think that is what the grief is. It has to be.
yeah. Well, that's a tough grief, especially coming early. Whether you're in love with somebody as a lover or you're in love with somebody as a friend, it's all the same. Um, okay, what else you got for me on her? What do you want to ask?
Well, legacy versus lifestyle. She was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills too. I guess the whole show today is Beverly Hills, but she was like she had big positions. She was C-suite. She made like $4 million a year. She was the chief marketing officer for companies like Uber, Apple.
Oh,
Then
nice.
she has a real corporate career. Now she quit corporate and she was doing her own thing. But this really was her first season on a reality show. Why not? She was in
Right.
between gigs. So it is a new career for her, so to speak. So she's not like, Kyle, 14 seasons. She grew up in the spotlight as an actress. I mean, Bose isn't necessarily in front of the camera. This is new for
Right.
her. So
Right.
when you say legacy versus lifestyle, and that means she's not sure,
Yeah, she's
maybe that's
definitely.
what it means.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a maybe. I think that is exactly what she's having some struggles with. When you go from running, companies or working in companies to your life being in the spotlight all the time, that's pretty difficult. And she feels to me like I mean, I know she's probably apparently worth a lot of money, comes from hard work or whatever, but she also likes her space a little bit. She's a little creative, and actually, to be quite honest with you, she looks like she's probably a little psychic.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit.
And so she does have a new show that she's doing with Jimmy Fallon. It's Greenlit. It's called On Brand. It is like a reality TV competition where, she's the chief marketing officer of all these companies. People are going to come in, have ideas. We're not sure how the show is going to work, but there'll be a winner in the end. So she's basically using her corporate
Skills.
career. Yeah. So that's a lot different than, getting down and fighting over stuff on Housewives.
Well, that'll work a lot better for her. And she's got the charisma and the energy vibration. Her frequencies are kind of higher than and please forgive me, but different than the housewives for sure. Because, like you said, they get down and dirty, they stab each other in the back and sometimes fight physically. So that's really not her. I think this show with Fallon will be really good for her, and I kind of feel like just so they know it's probably a hit.
Really? You see it being a hit.
I see and I don't know if that's going to run in seasons, but that's the only way I know because I've talked to you about this. But I'm going to say at least 4 seasons, which I think is pretty darn good for something like
Wow.
that.
And that's the thing. She is coming back to Housewives next season. You can do both. It's all on NBC and that's
Oh yeah,
associated
yeah.
with Bravo. But, like, does she So that's good that you see a hit 4 seasons.
Yeah,
Does she, putting that aside, so you could do Housewives next season and the both could be simultaneous. At some
sure.
point, you might want to make a choice, but one is a very long-term career if it works out, this show, and then the other one does have a shelf life eventually, even though, again, Kyle has been there for
Right.
14 years. But like, does she know what she has gotten into with Housewives? Because she had a good first season. But a lot of people have a good first season. Like, that doesn't mean that your stay will be good. If you're there for 10 years, that won't be good. I mean, they will do you dirty at some point, whether it's not even you, it's producers. So does she understand this?
I think she's got I mean, not 100%, no. Um, I feel like has talked to some of the other women. So yes, they've talked about stuff like that. So I feel like she knows there's a possibility, but I don't think she understands the depth of it that, because in her mind, that's a show. We're doing a show. I'm on stage, kind of, sort of, even though it's reality. And it ends, whatever, because she had a good season. She was fine. Nothing majorly horrific happened. This next go around, it's going to be tough.
You
And
think this very next season that she comes back is she's going to have it
I
tough?
think I'm going to say within the first three shows, the first three, I don't even know how to, again, I'm not in TV, but the first three shows, I don't think she's going to do well. I mean, she's
Really?
going to do well, but I think some shit's going to go down and she's going to be thinking, what the hell just happened? Yeah.
You think she's going to have a hard season?
Yes.
And, to your point, she may not, she talks to the other girls, but talking to the other girls is one thing. It's different when you are a chief marketing officer and your job is to market. I do think you could think, not even that you're above it, but that you are the one person that is smarter than the show. I think
Right.
I feel that from her, that
Well,
she
and
feels that she can.
absolutely. Absolutely. And gosh, I mean, everybody thinks they're smarter. It's not going to happen to them until it does.
It happens to everyone on Housewives.
It
It's
does.
out of your control. They will come and they will get you. And I wasn't sure if it was going to happen next season, but you see next season.
I do.
And then this is kind of wrapping it up. She does have a friend on the show, and we'll use the air quotes again, but I don't mean that in a shady way. This woman, Dorit Kemsley, like, they just met this past season, but it happened fast, but is it real? Because they say it's real. Again, there's Garcelle and Sutton for the show. Like, is this a real friendship between
It really is. I mean, to be honest with you, there's probably a little bit more showbiz than there is real. Um, more show the spirits are saying, sorry, more showbiz than soul, but they are friends. There's chemistry, not real depth, not a whole lot of depth, but it's there. Um, they're saying that it'll probably fizzle out at some point a little bit. Let's see. I just feel like they really do like each other. Um, but I feel like they put on a little bit more of a show than what they're saying they are, of course. And the friendship is not a lifelong. It's not like, her ride or die by any means of the imagination.
you don't see it like going decades?
Mm-mm.
Do you see a falling out next season, or no, everything seems fine next season, even though in Bozoma,
I think we'll start to see. I think what's going to happen, and how do you say that, Bozoma?
Bozoma or Bose, she goes by
Bose.
Bose.
Okay, so Bose, I think, is kind of setting back because I think Dorit is a little bit more transactional in the relationship than Bose is. And I think Bose is going to see that. And I think that's when we'll start to see a little bit of a crack about mid to late season.
Interesting. And final question, Bose, she is, you mentioned some that she's guarded and
Mhm.
that something about early 2026. I mean, she does have somebody now. His name is Keely. Do you see him as the one? Like, is this, or do you see a reset?
I feel like there's going to be a reset. Not that I feel like he's a horrible guy. I really don't. Um, he's just not the one. And to be quite honest with you, she plays more the alpha in the relationship than he does, and she really needs an alpha male.
That to me tracks. That to me tracks. And so maybe 2026 is where you see
20,
this
but yeah,
reset.
2026 for real love. Yes.
Interesting. Well, we've had a whole Beverly Hills show, which I mean, there's
We
nothing
have.
wrong with that. Everyone needs to follow Psychic Source. They can get a $20 reading for a $20 reading for 35 minutes, which is
35.
57 cents a minute. And really, what you should also do is go to my Instagram Behind Velvet Rope page and follow it. If you don't, and follow Psychic Source, and then like the post, and then comment who is going to be. Maybe Dorit and Bosch will be your guest for the next. And we're not. It's going to be a randomly chosen winner. It's not your answer for who's going to have the next feud is not going to determine the winner. It's so be answer honestly. It's just going to be a random. But we're just curious as to who you
Yeah.
think is. I mean, it could be any franchise. It's a good question, right? I mean, lots of feuds coming. So, and
I'm so excited.
people could find you. They can just look
Uh-huh.
under Robin, and we've already
Yep.
decided. Before we go, one final question: have you had
Yes.
any more? Have people been leaving you alone, or are you getting trolled still for Teresa? Because we talked about Teresa recently again, and she's on the move this time.
Honestly, last week and the week before, I was kind of so I wasn't balls to the walls, if you will, on Psychic Source like I normally am. I did have one lady say she was agreeing to disagree with what I said until something she saw and or something that happened. So she was really excited about that, and she's told me she would check in later. So we will see. We
Okay,
will see what that
agree
is.
to disagree. That's a nice chat, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
I'm
I
good
mean,
with that.
I tell people all the time, you don't have to. People are always like, I'm so sorry, David. You don't have to be sorry. You don't have to agree with me. It's
No,
okay. That
not
is
at all.
disagreeing is different than trolling and being nasty and going
Yes.
low, right?
Yes. Although I will tell you, and I guess I'm just going to tell all your people too.
Yeah,
Sometimes I kind of like that.
you
I
do.
kind of like that. I do. Because I like a challenge. So if somebody comes to me, I will spend days looking at it in my mind and asking my guides until I got it right.
If they're
Yeah.
like you are, well, you listen, a lot of people have said things, you're wrong. They are convinced you're
Yeah.
wrong about Teresa throwing open the door and saying she's back and she's coming back next season. They say, I'm like, "Tough. We can re-ask the gods in the future, right?
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
will tell.
We
It's
will.
always a
We shall see.
pleasure. We will see you back soon. Thank you. I appreciate your time. And everyone needs to go to
Yes.
Psychic Source and look for Psychic Robin. I appreciate
I'll
this.
be there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.